Game over. The rise of the Wildcard. It all started in the back corner of the local library, where 4 misfits gathered every Friday to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They weren't popular or athletic, but within that circle of cards and strategy, they found belonging. Leo, the calm planner. Ethan, the coding prodigy. Trey, the comic relief. And Alex, the wild card, always pushing boundaries, always daring them to go further. None of them knew that those games would lead to something far more dangerous than trading cards. During their sophomore year, they all ended up in the same computer science class. Their teacher gave them too much freedom, and soon Ethan was bypassing firewalls, teaching the others how to break into restricted systems. What if we actually do something cool? Alex grinned one day. Like, hack the school vending machines. They did. And after hours of free snacks, they escalated to hacking billboards, making them flash messages like, "Pizza is a vegetable." It was fun, harmless, until Alex took things too far. One stormy night, Alex showed them something that made everyone freeze. He was in the PlayStation network. "You can't do this," Leo warned. "This is serious." But Alex was already typing. "Relax, it's just a joke." Minutes later, the network went down. The next day, news broke. The FBI was investigating the breach. That was the last straw. The friends cut Alex off, terrified of getting caught. They stopped hacking, split up, and promised never to speak of it again. Years passed. They graduated, went to different colleges, and moved on. Or so they thought. One day, Leo's quiet life was shattered when 2 FBI agents knocked on his door. "Your friend Alex has been busy," one of them said grimly. "He's one of the most wanted hackers in the world. If you don't help us, his next move could collapse everything." The FBI tracked down Ethan and Trey too, and soon the old group was back together in a sterile conference room, feeling the weight of their past mistakes. "We have to stop him," Leo said, "before it's too late." They set up a makeshift command center in an FBI safe house. Days turned into weeks as they chased Alex's digital footprints. But every time they got close, he slipped away. "He's always 2 steps ahead," Ethan muttered. "It's like he wants us to find him." Finally, they discovered Alex's next attack, a cyber assault on global financial institutions, threatening to drain billions of dollars and send the world into chaos. With the FBI's help, they tracked him to a remote data center deep in the mountains. They arrived at night, storming the server farm, only to find Alex waiting for them. Calm, unbothered, as if he had known they were coming all along. "Finally," Alex said, spinning his chair around to face them. "Took you guys long enough." The room was eerily quiet. The air smelled of ozone, and the hum of computers surrounded them like a heartbeat. "We shut you down," Leo said. "It's over." Alex laughed. "You really think this is about money? I let you find me because I needed you to know the truth." He stood up, pacing slowly, as if savoring the moment. The government spies on its people. They censor what you see, manipulate what you believe. They protect billionaires and predators while the planet burns. Politicians sell lies. Celebrities sell distractions. And nobody cares, because the system keeps us entertained just enough to ignore the rot beneath it. Leo exchanged uneasy glances with Ethan and Trey. "What does that have to do with you?" Alex grinned. "I've spent the last few years making life miserable for the ones in charge. I've leaked their secrets, crashed their systems, and ruined their lives. Everything I can to expose the truth and slow them down." Trey stepped forward, incredulous. "So what? You're some kind of cyber vigilante?" "Exactly," Alex said, eyes gleaming. "And I called you here because you've proven you've still got it. You were always the best, and I need you now. I can't fight this war alone." Alex pulled out a laptop and set it on the table. The screen glowed with encrypted files, government emails, blackmail messages, offshore bank accounts, and personal conversations between billionaires and politicians. "This is just the tip of the iceberg," Alex said. "With your help, we could dismantle their entire network, expose the corruption, crash the whole system." Ethan hesitated, chewing his lip. "You're talking about becoming criminals." Alex leaned in. "I'm talking about saving the world." Leo felt his heart pound. Part of him wanted to walk away, to call the FBI and be done with it. But another part, the part that missed the thrill of the chase, was intrigued. What if Alex was right? What if they could make a difference? The room fell into silence as the three friends exchanged glances, weighing their options. Finally, Trey chuckled, shaking his head. "Well, we've already gone this far. Might as well go all in, right?" Ethan sighed, cracking his knuckles. "This is insane. But if we're doing this, I'm in." Leo felt the same pull, like gravity, irresistible. They couldn't walk away from this. Not now. "We do this," Leo said slowly. "We do it right. We stay anonymous. We don't hurt innocent people. And if things get out of hand, we stop." Alex grinned like a kid opening a Christmas present. "That's what I'm talking about." Within weeks, the team was back in action. But this time, they weren't just hacking for fun. They became a digital strike force, exposing hidden scandals, dismantling surveillance networks, and freeing whistleblowers trapped by corrupt systems. They called themselves the Blackout Syndicate, a ghost crew that operated in the shadows, leaving chaos in their wake, but only targeting the powerful and corrupt. They became legends on the dark web, their exploits whispered about in underground forums. No one knew their identities, only that they fought for justice, one hack at a time. Epilogue. A new beginning. Months later, Leo sat at his laptop, watching the world react to their latest takedown. A billionaire tech mogul caught funding illegal surveillance programs. Ethan sent a message in their encrypted group chat. "Next target?" Trey replied, "I say we go after Congress." Alex: "Big fish, I like it." Leo smiled, typing, "Let's show them what happens when they underestimate us." They were no longer just friends playing card games in a library. They were vigilantes with a purpose, bound by a shared mission. The war had just begun, and this time, they were on the right side. Once Leo, Ethan, and Trey joined Alex, there was no turning back. They deleted their social media accounts, wiped their digital footprints, and abandoned their old lives. College, family, and relationships. Everything had to go. The only thing that mattered now was the Blackout Syndicate. The rules were simple. Stay anonymous, never use real names. No innocent casualties, only expose the corrupt. No personal attachments. They were ghosts now, existing only in code. In the beginning, it was thrilling. They tore into the dark web, dismantling child predator networks and leaking incriminating data. They became digital vigilantes, exposing CEOs funding human trafficking, judges protecting criminals, and politicians hiding offshore wealth. With each victory, they felt like heroes, changing the world from the shadows. But the deeper they went, the more they realized how rotten the system was. The people in power weren't just corrupt, they were untouchable. Taking them down would require more than leaks and data dumps. It would take full-scale warfare. Alex wasn't afraid. "This is what we signed up for," he said. "We destroy the whole system or die trying." Months turned into years, and the Blackout Syndicate became infamous on the dark web. They were ghosts, striking without warning and leaving no trace. They hacked into predator rings, crashing their servers and releasing their identities to the public. They toppled corrupt billionaires one after another. But it wasn't enough. Not for Alex. "We need to aim higher," Alex said one night. "We take down the government itself." The others exchanged uneasy glances. It was one thing to expose predators or humiliate corrupt politicians, but taking on the entire US government? That was something else entirely. "Think about it," Alex continued. "The FBI, the NSA, the CIA, they're all watching us. They spy on everyone, reading texts, listening to calls, tracking everything you do. They don't protect people, they just control them." "And what?" Leo asked quietly. "We're supposed to stop all of it?" Alex leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with intensity. "Yes, we burn it all down." Over the next 6 months, they worked on their biggest hack yet, Operation Blackout. The plan was to shut down every major government system in the country. No databases, no surveillance, no control. It was an impossible task. Ethan spent sleepless nights cracking into NSA systems, creating backdoors that would give them full access to FBI servers. Trey mapped out digital escape routes to ensure they couldn't be tracked. Leo ran simulations, perfecting every detail of the operation. And Alex? Alex pushed them harder than ever, demanding perfection. "We do this right," he told them, "or we die in prison." The night of the operation, they gathered in an abandoned warehouse, surrounded by screens and servers humming with power. The plan was in motion, the countdown ticking down to 0. Trey cracked a joke to ease the tension. "You know, this is way more stressful than Yu-Gi-Oh!" Nobody laughed. The final stage was in Alex's hands. With a single keystroke, the government's entire digital infrastructure would go dark. Surveillance systems, financial records, military command centers, it would all vanish in an instant. Alex's finger hovered over the keyboard. "This is it," he whispered. "Game over." And then, something stopped them. As the clock ticked toward 0, Leo felt a wave of doubt. "Wait," he said. "What happens next?" Alex frowned. "What do you mean?" Leo stood up, pacing the room. "If we do this, if we shut it all down, what happens to the people? What happens to everyone out there who depends on these systems? Hospitals, airports, banks?" Alex scoffed. "They'll figure it out." "No, they won't," Ethan said quietly. "They'll panic. People aren't ready for this." Trey nodded. "We're talking mass chaos, riots, maybe even worse." Alex slammed his fist on the table. "You think the government deserves to stay in power after everything they've done? They spy on us, lie to us, and protect the worst kinds of people. This is the only way to stop them." Leo shook his head. "Maybe people don't want to be free. Maybe they just want to feel safe." The room fell into a heavy silence. For the first time, Alex looked uncertain. His hands trembled as he stared at the glowing screen in front of him. The countdown was at 10 seconds. He had spent years chasing this moment, but now that it was here, his friends, the only people he trusted, were pulling away. 5 seconds, Trey whispered. Alex hovered over the enter key, and then, at the last second, he shut the laptop. "It's over," he said, his voice hollow. Leo let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Ethan leaned back in his chair, exhausted. Trey just sat quietly, shaking his head. And just like that, the Blackout Syndicate was finished. The next day, they wiped everything. Servers, files, chat logs, gone. They disappeared from the digital world, each going their separate way. Leo returned to California, finishing his degree and getting a boring but safe job in IT. Ethan moved to New York, working in cybersecurity and pretending the past never happened. Trey re-enlisted in the military, looking for meaning in a world that didn't make sense. And Alex? He vanished completely. No messages, no emails, no trace. As if he had never existed. Years passed. Life moved on. The world kept spinning just as it always had. The government continued its surveillance. The rich got richer, and the corrupt stayed in power. Sometimes, Leo would sit at his desk, staring at his old laptop, wondering if they had made the right choice. They had saved the system, but was it worth it? He never knew. And maybe he never would. One rainy night, Leo received an encrypted email. No sender, no subject line, just a message. "Still watching. Stay safe, brother." Leo smiled. It was from Alex. He knew then that Alex was still out there somewhere, fighting the good fight in his own way. And maybe, just maybe, the game wasn't over after all. The end, or is it?